This one is in Typescript. It's called Find Nearest Square Number. And as always, there's a link to the challenge in the show notes right below the video. Give it a shot before watching. You've always got this to fall back on if you get stuck. All right, so the challenge is to find the nearest square number of a positive integer n. So for example, if n is 111, then the nearest square equals 121. Since 111 is closer to 121, the square of 11, then 100, the square of 10. Okay, so if n is already a perfect square, then you just need to return n. I see. Okay, cool. All right, so in that case, what we could do is, I think we need to test, I think we need a for loop. So for loop, start at 1, and then keep going until we're higher than the actual number itself. And then that way we can take the two nearest numbers and see which one's the winner. So we would take the absolute value, okay? So let's do this. We'll say while, let's see. Let's say we'll let square equal 1, and we'll say while, let's do another one called difference. Okay. What are we going to do here? Man, I'm trying to think about how to loop this. It's kind of escaping me right now. The coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet. Okay, let's just do while true. So we're creating an infinite loop here. So we'll say I should call this I, and that way the square. So we'll say if I times I is greater than or equal to the n, then what we need to do is, once we are at or bigger than our number itself, then we can kind of compare. So what we'll do is we'll say, okay, if, let's do the absolute value, so math.abs, and we'll say this is not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Okay, so if we take I minus 1, okay, let's do it in here. We'll say, we'll let diff1 is equal to I minus 1 squared, and then that needs to be differenced. So we're going to say math.absolute that minus n, and then we'll say diff2, these should be consts, I'm not going to change them. So diff2 is math.absolute. So then the square root of that one minus n. Okay, so if let's see, I'm kind of doing this multiple times. Let's say square is equal to I that, and then we'll use the square variable here. I'm just trying to clean up the code a little bit. It helps me think through this. Okay, so if we have that, what we're doing is comparing the one before I, differencing that from the current square value, and what we could say is if diff1 is less than diff2, then we will return, that's I minus 1 squared. Otherwise, we return the current square. Okay, man, this is ugly. There is probably a way more elegant way to do this. I just, for some reason, this one is just not jiving mentally for me. And there's a decent chance it's probably wrong if the tests are getting hung up like that. Nearest square, basic test, standard out, timed out. Oh, why would we do true? Okay, I see. So yeah, I'm still stuck in an infinite loop. So if that and then outside of here, I need to say I plus equals 1. I'm not incrementing my I, so it's just doing an infinite loop there. There we go. So now I've got it working. Whew, this code is ugly. But you know what? The tests are passing. That's good enough for government work. All right, y'all. Good job.